Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Innovating with Google Slides Part 2. In Part 1, we discussed how to use Google Slides to create interactive game boards, as well as how to create self-checking activities. Today, we're going to be talking about how to turn your PDFs into PNGs, which is the type of file needed to make your worksheets interactive. So let's go ahead and dive in. Before we start talking about how to turn our files into PDFs, I want to talk about why digital. So first of all, it's going to save you a lot of preparation time. If you already have these worksheets available through your lesson plans, this is going to help give you back a lot of that time. Second, you're going to drastically reduce your paper usage. Yay for less copies. Third, you're going to hopefully increase your student engagement. And fourth, you're going to create assignments that students can complete independently. The goal isn't to reinvent every single lesson. It's to take what you already have and make it more compatible with being digital. So one of the biggest problems with Google Slides is it does not play nice with PDFs. And most of our worksheets are PDFs. Now, if you have a fancy program like Acrobat, you can convert your PDFs to PNGs easily. But I don't have that, and I know most of you probably don't either. So let's talk about a quick workaround we can use using Canva for educators. If you're an educator, yay, Canva is already free for you. So you're just going to want to create your own Canva account, and I will show you what to do once you've logged in. So once you've logged into Canva, you are going to push the plus button for Create. And you are going to go all the way to the bottom where it says Upload. Upload your files. And you are going to find the file that you would like to use. I already saved mine here. So I would like to use this laser light lab sheet from my science experiment. Once it's uploaded, you'll see a little notification down here that says one item uploaded. You can go ahead and click it, and your file will upload. So besides using this to convert to PNG, another great thing about uploading PDFs to Canva is oftentimes it makes them editable. So for example, when I look over here at Make a Prediction, I see that these words are doing something real funky. I'm not sure what's going on there. But if I click this and then I click my alignment, now my words are fixed. I could also change specific words and retype things. So this is a great way to edit worksheets as well. Okay, so now let's talk about how to take this document and turn it into a PNG. So what you're going to do is click Share, and you're going to click Download. You're going to make sure it says PNG at the top. Now, you can only do one page at a time, I know. What happens is if you do multiple pages, it saves as a zip file, and Google Drive does not allow us to unzip zip files anymore. So you're going to want to save it one page at a time. So page 1, my current page, and I'm going to click Download. Now it has saved it as a PNG. So my next step is I'm going to open up a Google slide. So new Google slide. First thing I want to do is clear all this away. And now I want to change this so it's the same size as a standard worksheet. So a worksheet is typically 8.5 by 11 if it's portrait. If it's landscape, it's 11 by 8.5. So what I did was I went to File, and then I clicked Page Setup. I'll do it again. File, Page Setup. And then I typed in Custom, and I changed my width is 8.5, and my length is 11. So now this is the same size as a worksheet. Now, before we enter this PNG, I know some people are going to ask me, why can't I just take a screenshot and insert it? You can. However, the problem with screenshots is it's a lot of trial and error, because typically what ends up happening is the screenshot looks blurry or grainy or it's cut off. So this is the easiest and quickest way I found, so I don't have to do that whole trial and error of zoom in more, zoom out more. This efficiently puts the picture how I want it. Big tip here. You could just do insert and put your image in. However, that means that students can manipulate this image, move it, delete it. You want this image locked in place. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to click background. Go to image and select choose image. Go to browse. And it should be the last thing you just downloaded right here, Laser Light Lab Sheet. So now that I have this Laser Light Lab Sheet here, I can go ahead and start manipulating with it. In this case, my lab sheet got a little squished, so I'm just going to go to page setup and I'm going to drop the height down to maybe 13 and see if that fixes it. All right, that fixed it a little bit. So now it looks a little better. Okay, so this is what students will see when they open up this document. They can see the worksheet, but they're not able to interact with it yet. So now what we're going to need to do is add the elements that make this become interactive. So first I want to zoom in. This is really far away. I'm going to zoom in to maybe 150 so I can get really close. And then I notice that here it involves students to write something to make a prediction. So I'm going to want to add text. When it comes to extended response ones like this, you could do a big text box, but then the font gets a little wonky. You could do multiple text boxes, but then students need to stop a thought before they go to the next text box. The easiest way I found to do it is I go insert, shape, and I just put a shape here to cover this up and make it white. And then I make this as a text box where students can respond. So I could say respond here. And they know this is where they need to type to respond. Okay, down here where it's the table, it's a little easier because I don't need that extended response line. So I'm just going to do insert text box. And I'm going to just drag and drop some text boxes down there. So Control C, Control V, Control V. And I totally forgot I like to make these a bit bold, so I do 2-point black. And then Control C, Control V to drag it over here to the observation side. So now this can be typed on by my students. I could add more text boxes down here as well, but I've taken this worksheet and I've made it digital. So you can do this with all different types of worksheets. For example, here's a reading worksheet, and you're just going to do the same thing where you insert your text boxes and students can type. You could also do something besides text boxes. This is pretty cool. I've mainly used this when I'm doing math activities, but for example, if I'm teaching angles and I want my students to be able to manipulate the angle type, I could just go insert, shape, or in this case, I'll do line. I can have an arrow, and I can have my students just drag and complete the different shapes. So in this case, I'm going to make the arrow green, and I'm going to make a couple of them, one for each question. So it looks like there's 5 questions. So what my student will be able to do is zoom in, and they're going to be able to take this and they can make different angle sizes. So they can make an obtuse angle, a straight angle, acute angle, right, a reflex angle. You could also do this with base 10 blocks where students can create different place value systems. So you are able to really have them interact with these worksheets in multiple ways. One of the biggest reasons I love using slides like this for worksheets is students can complete them at school and share with their parents at home. You can also use resources you already have so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Of course, saving copies like I talked about. Okay, so now it's your turn. You are going to check out the Thompson tips on the next slide, and then I want you to try out some of those activities for yourself. You are getting closer and closer to being a Google Master. I can't wait to see you in our next video where we talk about innovating with Google Forms. See you then.